On the other side, of course, Michigan has been so good defensively all year, but these last two games here, Joel, they've given up their highest rushing totals of the year against Rutgers and Indiana. Is that cause for concern at all? Should there be alarm bells going off for Wolverine fans?
You know, it's interesting, and watching the film and talking with the coaching staff, you know, they say, listen, we're not that alarmed because it was just a couple of things here and there. It's one missed assignment, and for the most part, we're very sound. We were trying some new things out in terms of how we were reading it, how we were going to be gap sound with the secondary, kind of inserting for a linebacker who's going to run out with a swing route. So there was things that they were trying that were a little wrinkles in their defense, and they got hit on them. Here's a for example. Rutgers had a three-back set in that 80-yard run. That 80-yard touchdown was somewhere they kind of had a kind of a fake reverse, and then they gave the ball to the tailback. They had a couple of Michigan players get out of their gap, and then bang, it's an 80-yard run. Well, Don Brown made an adjustment right away, and he said, okay, anytime they come out in that set, Devin Bush, you're going to have man coverage on the tailback. What happened after that? Rutgers ran it 3 more times for 0 total yards. So they do make adjustments, and I think that's why I'm less concerned about Michigan and more concerned for Ohio State, is because I haven't seen the ability for Ohio State to adjust and fix the problems that we've seen, whereas these one-off problems for Michigan, have they been hurt by them in the last couple of weeks? Yes. Do I see them hurt constantly? No, we don't see it the second or third time. Generally, they fix that hole, plug that leak, and move forward. And for that reason, I fully expect Michigan to come out there and play really solid defense on Saturday.
Joel, there were some times when Indiana really blocked their front very efficiently. I was surprised at that. Yeah. But I'll tell you one thing that I'm concerned about with Michigan's defense. I think they are going to be so emotional for this game that the penalties could be a part of this game. Earlier in the year, Michigan had 107 defensive yards and penalties, 107 yards and penalties for just their defense because they were so emotional. I think they've got to really, I think emotion will help them play the game, but I think that defense has got to relax a little bit with late hits and some of the things that they've been guilty of this fall.
And, Coach, you know, one of those emotional games I was in the booth for, and they did not keep their cool, and that was Michigan State. And obviously things bubbled up before the game, and we've talked at length about that. But they did not keep their cool, and they had several personal foul calls that ended up hurting them. Now, they only gave up 7 points in part because Michigan State is just not very strong offensively. But I wholeheartedly agree. In particular on the road, you've got to calm down, and you cannot give a team like Ohio State, which has a very potent offense, extra and free yards. When you give them extra first downs and free yards, you're just inviting scoring drives. There's actually, and I've been through the numbers, and I don't have these exact right now, but Coach and Rev, this Michigan defense, when they do not have a defensive penalty on a drive, they're giving up basically like 0.3 points per drive, which is the tops in all of college football. It's basically you don't score on them unless they have a defensive penalty. The problem is that they're one of the most penalized defenses in America. So because of that, what you have is a defense that will give up points here and there, but generally it's them helping the offense get there. I think that right now they're in the top 5 in penalties on just their defense in the FBS. So that's something to watch for when it comes to the emotions that you're speaking of, Coach, versus Ohio State, and then also the clean play. Can they avoid some of those pass interference or personal fouls that would obviously extend drives?